Hello everyone, welcome to course study on solid mechanics. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about Poisson's ratio, shear modulus and bulk modulus. Now, first of all, we will discuss about Poisson's ratio. Poisson's ratio is denoted by the letter mu. This is the symbol for the mu. Now, what is Poisson's ratio? When the deformation of the member is within the elastic limit, it is found that the ratio of lateral strain to the linear strain is constant for a given material. What does it mean? The ratio of lateral strain to the linear strain is constant for a given material. Mathematically, we have Poisson's ratio equal to minus lateral strain upon linear strain. What it indicates? Minus sign. Suppose if I consider any bar or any body which is subjected to a tensile force P, under the application of that tensile force P, the bar will get elongated in this manner. It means that there will be the increment into its length will go on increasing, but at the same time its lateral dimension, its cross-sectional dimension will go on reducing. Therefore, we have the minus sign in Poisson's ratio. Therefore, we have the minus sign in this particular Poisson's ratio, which is equal to minus lateral strain upon linear strain. Now, this table shows different values of Poisson's ratio for a different material. If I consider the rubber, it has Poisson's ratio 0.499, which is approximately equal to 0.5. Remember that the maximum value of the Poisson's ratio, it is 0.5. It does not have any value of Poisson's ratio which is greater than 0.5. Practically it is 0.5. For the mild steel, the Poisson's ratio is 0.27 to 0.34. If I consider aluminium, it is 0.33. For concrete, it lies between 0.1 to 0.2. For glass, it is 0.18 to 0.3, whereas for clay, it is 0.3 to 0.45. If I consider a cork, it has the Poisson's ratio 0. Remember that according to the Poisson's ratio, the lateral strain decreases as the longitudinal strain increases. As discussed in the previous concept, if we consider a bar which is subjected to a tensile force, due to that tensile force, the length of that particular bar will go on increasing. At the same time, its lateral dimension will go on decreasing. Therefore, we have the minus sign in that particular figure. At the same time, if I apply the compressive force to any body, then its longitudinal dimension will go on decreasing. At the same time, its lateral dimension will go on increasing. We have the same effect if I apply the tensile force or the compressive bar, because we have minus sign over here. Now we will discuss the deformation of the body due to forces acting on it. Deformation of the body due to forces acting on it, it means that, again, if I consider a bar which is subjected to a force P over here as shown in figure, due to application of this force P, the length of the bar will go on increasing in this manner. That length is nothing but it is delta L. So that delta L we are going to find out by using Hooke's law. By using Hooke's law, we have stress is directly proportional to strain. But as discussed earlier, stress is given by P by A, whereas strain is given by change in length upon original length. If I put the value of stress and strain in this equation of Hooke's law, we have P by A, which is equal to E into delta L by L. If I rearrange the equation for calculating the value of delta L, we have PL upon A. So by using this equation, in future we are going to find out the deformation of the body due to the forces acting on it. Deformation of the body means change in its length, change in its lateral dimension. From this equation, delta L is equal to PL by A, where P is equal to the force acting onto the body, L is the original length of the body, A is the cross-sectional of the body, cross-sectional area of the body. For example, if I consider a prismatic bar or a rectangular bar, this is a rectangular bar. If I consider the cross-section of that particular bar, it will look like in this manner. This is the cross-section of the bar. So A is nothing but it's a cross-sectional area of the body, and E is the Young's modulus of the material. Remember that for a particular material, the value of Young's modulus, it remains constant. As the material changes, the value of E also changes. Now we are going to discuss the concept of shear modulus or modulus of rigidity. It is denoted by the letter G. Modulus of rigidity or shear modulus is denoted by G. What does it mean? Within the elastic limit, the shear stress is directly proportional to strain. Within the elastic limit, shear stress, which is denoted by the letter tau, is directly proportional to shear strain, which is denoted by the letter gamma. Remember that this is the gamma. So within the elastic limit, shear stress is directly proportional to shear strain. Now we have to remove the proportionality constant. After removing the proportionality constant, we have tau is equal to G into gamma. Therefore, where G is equal to the modulus of rigidity or shear modulus, and that we have to find out. Therefore, we have G is equal to tau upon gamma Newton per mm square. Means it has the same unit just like a stress. This is the value of G. Therefore, what does it mean? Modulus of rigidity or shear modulus, it is the ratio of shear stress to the shear strain. After that, we are going to discuss the new concept, the bulk modulus K. Again, bulk modulus is denoted by the letter K, and it is the ratio of direct stress to the volumetric strain. Direct stress, it is also known as volumetric stress. It is already discussed in the previous slide also. What is volumetric stress? In case of volumetric stress, the body, it is subjected to equal stress from all the direction. The entire face, each and every face of the body is subjected to equal value of the stress. So this is known as volumetric stress. So bulk modulus is the ratio of volumetric stress to the corresponding volumetric strain, is known as bulk modulus. Therefore, we have K is equal to volumetric stress upon volumetric strain, and mathematically it is given by sigma V upon epsilon V. Therefore, which is equal to sigma V upon epsilon L into 1 minus twice mu. That value of epsilon V we have discussed in the previous slide also. The unit of bulk modulus is Newton per mm square or MPa, megapascal. In the next lecture, we are going to discuss about the relation between Young's modulus, that is E, and the shear modulus G. Thank you.